36 hours. That's all the time left before the global silver market changes forever. On January 1st, 2026, at midnight Beijing time, China activates something the financial media calls a regulatory update. They're wrong. This is a choke point activation. And the timing? Surgical. Because while China prepares to close the exits, the COMEX futures exchange in New York is facing something it has never seen before. Emphasize, January delivery demands 125 million ounces. Normal month, 5 million ounces. COMEX registered inventory, 241 million ounces, lowest in 8 years. If even 2/3 of these demands stand, COMEX faces 70% depletion in a single month. And here's the real danger. China supplies 12% of global mined silver. And in 36 hours, every ounce leaving the country will require government approval. Ask yourself, what happens when the world's largest manufacturing nation decides to keep its silver right as Western exchanges struggle to deliver the physical metal they owe? What really changes at midnight? Export licensing sounds bureaucratic, boring even, until you realize China now has veto power over every single silver shipment leaving its borders, every refinery shipment, every industrial shipment, every ounce of raw metal. China isn't just a producer. It's the swing supplier the world silently relies on. We are talking about 100 million ounces a year flowing through China, QHS refining and export systems. But here's the trap. China became a net importer of silver in 2023. They're consuming more than they produce, yet exports remain because of old fixed-price contracts written when silver was 23 horas. Today, it's 79 to 87 horas, up 67% in 12 months. If you were China, would you approve export licenses right now? The January 2026 delivery crisis. The crisis isn't hypothetical. It's already in motion. As of December 30th, 2025, 125 million ounces stand for COMEX delivery. That's 2,400% of normal demand. Inventory is falling daily. This didn't happen by accident. Large players are refusing to roll their futures contracts forward. They want real metal, not cash. Paper silver is no longer trusted. When trust breaks, price discovery shifts to the physical market, and that leads us to Shanghai. The Shanghai warning signal, December 30th, 2025. Shanghai premiums jump to $4.20 per ounce over London spot. Normal premiums? 10 to 30 cents. A $4 premium is not normal. A $4 premium means the physical market has officially decoupled from paper pricing. Chinese buyers are sending the world a message. We don't care what COMEX says silver is worth. We want physical metal, and we'll pay whatever it takes. This is the exact signal that appeared before the nickel meltdown in 2022, before uranium skyrocketed, before multiple supply crises in metals markets. Premiums don't lie, they warn. And this warning is reaching maximum volume. Global export controls. China's move isn't isolated. Mexico, 23% of global supply, announced it is reviewing silver export procedures. Russia, 5% of global supply, declared silver a strategic resource requiring export oversight. Combine China, Mexico, and Russia. That's 40% of global mine supply now under government-controlled export rules, all announced within a 30-day window. Not a coincidence. It's coordinated resource strategy. The COMEX bank run look at COMEX vaults. The numbers tell the real story. January 2024, 456 Oz. December 2025, 240 Oz, a 47% collapse. But the real shock? In Q4 alone, 67 million ounces were reclassified from registered to eligible. Eligible means the metal exists, but cannot be used for delivery. Why would vault operators remove metal from availability during the biggest delivery wave in history? 2 reasons. Owners don't trust COMEX to return their metal. COMEX is reserving metal for specific insiders. Both are catastrophic signals. The premium trajectory. Shanghai premiums tell the truth. September, $0.80. October, 1.60. November, 2.90. December, 4.20. This is not price fluctuation. This is market fracture. Same pattern as nickel in 2022, and we all know how that ended. JP Morgan makes its move for a decade. JP Morgan held the biggest net short in silver, but in Novdec 2025, they closed all shorts, went net long silver futures. JP Morgan does not gamble. They move strategically. They saw delivery demands, surging inventory, collapsing export restrictions rising, and they flipped sides. When the most informed institution in the precious metals world reverses its entire strategy, it means one thing: a structural break is coming. The industrial demand squeeze. Silver is not just an investment metal, it is an industrial necessity. 2024 industrial demand, 539 per ounces, plus 6.8%. Breakdown solar, 110 Oz, plus 18%. EVs, 37 miles yen, 12%, 5G, 28 miles, 9%. There are no substitutes for silver in these technologies. Meanwhile, 2024 mine supply, 822 meters Oz, slightly declining. Total demand, 104 M Oz. Deficit, 182 million Oz. The deficit is being filled by draining COMEX, ETFs, and private vaults. This cannot continue. 40% of supply under restriction. China, Mexico, Russia, together controlling nearly half of global supply, all tightening exports right before the largest COMEX delivery month in history. This is strategic timing. The inevitable COMEX failure. Let's run the math. COMEX registered inventory 241 million Oz. January demands 125 million Oz. If 70% stand, COMEX falls to 153 sitter ounces. The critical stress threshold is 180 mints. Once below that level, COMEX has only three options. 1. Reclassify eligible silver owners won't allow it in a crisis. 2. Cash settlement. This destroys the credibility of the paper market instantly. 3. Let inventories collapse. A slow-motion death spiral. All three end the same way. COMEX loses global pricing authority. Spot price today, $79.87. But physical premiums tell the real story. Shanghai, $4.20 US retail, 7.5 to 10% over spot. And when paper breaks, silver reprices violently. Historical analogs, nickel 2022, plus 305% in 48 hours, palladium 2021. Major spike silver 1980, plus 24% in 12 months. Projection on once, COMEX cracks. $100, 120 Oz by February, 120 or 150 Oz by April if industrial panic hits. These numbers are conservative. January 1st, China activates export licensing. Exports delayed 2 weeks minimum. January 3rd to 7th, COMEX begins processing 125 Oz of delivery notices. Inventory drops toward crisis levels. January 15th, 20. Stress becomes undeniable. Premiums spike globally. January 28th, 31. COMEX fails to deliver. Cash settlement or force majeure is invoked. Paper silver loses credibility. February industrial buyers panic. Global bidding war begins. March, April. Physical silver trades at $120, $150, while COMEX lags behind. The two-tier market becomes permanent. This isn't like 1980. Back then, two brothers squeezed the market. This time, industrial demand, government policy, supply deficits, export controls, inventory collapse are all converging at once. You can't regulate that away. You can't margin call an energy grid or an EV manufacturer. The squeeze is structural, not speculative. In 36 hours, China activates the trigger. The choke point closes. And when the delivery obligations collide with physical reality, everyone holding paper silver will learn what their contracts are truly worth. Possession is everything. Delivery is everything. And delivery is exactly what COMEX can't provide. This is the final warning before the lockdown begins, and the silver market changes forever.